in my mind, there's so many things that we need to work on technically that I've tried to get that in at the beginning of practice when they're fresh, mentally fresh, and that's just not a good formula for this team. You got to get them to a spot where it's ultra competitive and see who's ready to roll and who's not, and try to make sure that we're practicing with a sense of urgency. So hopefully we can start the game tomorrow night, with a great sense of urgency and maintain that. So we're just looking for consistency right now. We know what we're capable of doing. We know we can play some good basketball. We also know that when we're not focused, we don't play very good basketball. So just trying to get that consistent mentality of attacking and being aggressive and being tough and being competitive is really what we've tried to do in practice. Well, I'm not saying they are obviously competitive because they're 8-1 against a real tough schedule, and they have. If you aren't a competitor and you're down 16 to your arch rival on their home floor, you don't come back and win. So they are competitive. What I'm saying is that you must draw that out of them. They are very close. They're very much for each other, and I think sometimes they'd rather just hang out and talk to each other than get in and really, knock heads against each other and practice and go. So that's what they're a competitive group. They're just not. I'm really talking about more what I need to be doing in practice than what they need. I need to set a better tone, and I need to make sure that happens. And really, for me, I think it's good. We're finding that out a little bit earlier in the season than maybe we found it out last season, And so hopefully that finding it out still here in non-conference will help us when we get to conference play. Yeah, I think this is a little different team than I've had, but that's all right. I recruited every one of these kids and love every one of these kids, and it's just it's something a little different every year. That's what makes it so challenging to coach and so exciting and to try to figure out and to try to do a good job. This is a very different team than I've ever had.
Are they too nice, and then they have to get hit in the nose?
Yeah, I mean, they're a really good group of kids, and I just think that sometimes they feel like things might just happen instead of making things happen, and so they're not too nice because they get down 14, they'll scrap back and get back into a game, or they're down 8 with 1:20 left, they find a way. So, they have some toughness to them. There's no question about it. I just have to make sure that the atmosphere is such that they're bringing that out of themselves all the time. Yeah, I think that they start driving the ball a little bit more aggressively to the basket, and that's one of our strengths. I think that they understand on defense with our freshman and sophomore classes, they're not as far along defensively as some of our juniors and seniors. And so I think in those maybe early in the game, they're still of a mindset of, hey, this is just one possession. I can kind of check out and maybe not be where I'm supposed to be. And maybe at the end of the game, they're a little bit more in tune because we've had some good stops, at the end of the game and have done some of those things. So, again, I just think they understand that there's an immediate threat, and so they respond to where when there's, 17 minutes left in the first half, maybe they think, hey, we have time to get this back. And I'm just saying that's not a sustainable course of action. We can't be the team we want to be with that kind of attitude. So we need to try to break it into 4-minute groups, 4-minute segments, and just play like crazy 4 minutes at a time and regroup and try to go again and see if we can become a little more consistent. I want us to stop digging ourselves such a big hole. Well, after the Louisville game, we tried to really go back and more clearly define those and kind of let everybody know where they were suffering and where they needed to pick it up and where their strengths are. And so I think their role on the team is fresh in their mind, because we did revisit that after the Louisville game. Because what you don't want to do is think that you have everything figured out, because it was such a great win against such a good team on the road, and people are excited about it. You can't lose in the fact that we, for a large majority of the game, didn't look very good. So I thought it was very important to have a reality check when we came back to practice on Tuesday, and I thought they handled that well.
Do you think about shaking up the starting lineup? I mean, the starts are slow.
Yeah.
You don't have the right.
I am. The way I like to teach is I like to tell them what to do, give them a chance to see where they are in their development. They make mistakes, point them out, correct them, give them a chance to correct the mistakes. And so that's why I've stuck with the starting lineup for so long, because I'm not one for just jerking somebody out of the game and not telling them what's going on and trying to play mind games. But I think we're at a spot now where 9 games in, that the starting lineup's very much up for grabs, because sometimes the bench is the only thing that gets through to somebody, and it actually helps focus you in. So I think that's a very fair question to ask, and that is something that we are mixing some lineups right now in practice, trying to see where we need to be. But we won't just stay with it just to stay with it, because that's how we started. It's very much a situation where right now every minute's up for grabs in a competitive situation in practice. And if you're not doing what you need to do, it's on you, because we're being very clear on what needs to be happening in practice. And so, for instance, a player like Kyvan, there's very specific, she needs to play more on balance with a lower power base. She's very loose with her shooting fundamentals around the basket, hence she's not making shots. She's out of position on defense. And so we're not just saying, hey, Kyvan, you better play better. We're telling her what she needs to do to improve. And again, she's a freshman, and if she starts every game this year, great. If she doesn't start, she's still a big part of what we need to do. So her focus needs to be on getting better where she needs to get better. But my responsibility is to try to find a way for us to get better starts, and that might be one way to shake it up a little bit.
Is there a team you've had that started really well, and then you kind of go back to it and try to mend things from, or anything like that?
Well, one team that I'm trying to hold up for this team to pattern themselves after is the 2009-10 team, that first team that we went to the tournament with here. And because while we're bigger than that team relative to our competition in the conference, I still think we're going to have to win with speed, quickness, and aggressiveness, although we're much bigger than that team was. So for instance, before the Louisville game, I showed them clips of that team, just athletic, their aggressiveness, ball pressure. The administration of the rules is a little bit different now, so we got away with a little bit more hand checking and bumping a little bit, but still it's not exactly the same, but just the way that they were aggressive and the way they rotated to passes and things, that's really what I have tried to pattern this team after, and it's I think good for them to see that, and I think it gives them a mental and a visual picture of what they need to look like.
While it provides some swagger, probably, is it a concern that a team thinks we've come back from 16 down, 14 down? I mean, is that a concern that maybe they don't think any lead is?
There's no question, and so that's why the tone on Tuesday and yesterday and today is very much about what we need to do to get better, and it's not about 8-1 or 9 and whatever we are. I don't even know what the record is right now. I know we've lost once, and it is that wherever you're ranked, whatever people are saying about you, has nothing that will help you in this game tomorrow night against Middle Tennessee or going forward. So it's a very big concern, and you as a coach need to do everything you can to try to get your team to be more consistent, and that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, you try to include the leadership as much as possible. But sometimes, listen, as a coach, if you wait around for the leadership to do it, everybody's different. Everybody has different gifts. We have a lot of gifts on this team. One of them that we are lacking right now is just, people to take the bull by the horns. And so sometimes as a coach, you have to provide that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I tell you what, I'd rather have this group than any other one in the country. So, I mean, I'm really good with our players, and they know what they need to do, and we have people. Janae Thompson's trying hard, Bria Goff's trying hard. We have people leading and working hard, and so I do ask the players to help me out. But I think right now, for where we are, I've got to do a really good job with the atmosphere in practice. I think can help us as I've really looked at our slow starts. Really great. She cares a tremendous amount. It's hard as a young person to lead with all of your peers there, and sometimes it's just so very difficult. And it's easier for me at my stage in life to lead than it is for her at her stage in life, and I'm just real proud that she's taken on the challenge of trying to become a good leader. And this morning, when things didn't go well at a particular time, she was very vocal and said, "Listen, we need to pick it up," and it's good. She's doing a great job. She's trying hard. Like all of us, she still has some areas where she can grow. I still have areas where I can grow as a leader, and so I don't think you ever are at a spot as a leader where you have everything figured out. But she's working hard at it, and I'll tell you, when she plays well, it makes a big, big difference on our team, and when she leads well, it makes a big difference. So Janae's doing a good job. We need her to continue that.
Did you say anything to them about free throw shooting at halftime in the Louisville game? They shot 34% in the first half and 84% in the second half.
I will have to take credit for that. I went back and threatened them with severe punishment if they didn't know. I promise you we didn't talk about the free throw. I went on a very, very long rant at the beginning of the halftime, so free throws could have been a part of it. I don't know if anyone recorded it, but I had to go take a couple Advil after I got done talking. Then I went back in and we talked strategy. But it could have been free throws. But
is that sort of proof that this is mental for them?
Yeah.
When they're honed in, they play.
Right. Correct. Yeah. I can't pretend to know. If I knew exactly what it was, I'd get it all figured out. But I agree with you. I think that it is very mental right now. With us, and that's where we need to try to all unite in one mindset, one heartbeat, one direction, going, taking the court every night with that sense of purpose where we're all united, and we don't have a lot of mental letdown. So it's we have tried to address some of the poor free throw shooters in practice with game running sprints, putting them on tired, stopping practice when they don't know they're going to the line, and getting them. We're trying to do some different situations because it's really only a couple of kids, three kids that are really letting us down from a mental standpoint because they're good shooters and they can do a lot better. Right.
I mean, her career average is still in the 40s at least. So, I mean, is there something specific this season that's different, John?
I don't, you know, she may have had some misses that got it to her more than not. I don't know, but she did a little bit better in practice this morning. Lene did a lot better in practice this morning. Jennifer did better in practice this morning. So, yeah, I think that it's a hard thing to get through, and the only way that you do is you spend time outside of practice, because when you get tense and you're nervous on the free throw line, it's you're almost hoping up there that it goes in. So I think Asia's work needs to come outside of practice, and she needs to go up there with confidence. And we've also tried to simplify some routines. Lene had a very, very complicated routine that kept her on the line longer. And if there's tension, it's like standing over a putt in golf. If you just stand there, you'll just finally tense up and you decrease your chances. And so we've tried to simplify some routines, get them on there quicker, maybe a couple of dribbles, get into your shot. And hopefully, again, it worked with Lene in the second half at a timeout. I told her, you know, to stop dribbling so much. And so she made a couple there. And so that's just mental. That's nothing but shorter time. It's nothing technical. So we'll just keep plugging with that, and hopefully that'll be something that we can improve. Yeah. Yeah. We're just trying to tell her, get up there, concentrate, be as solid as you can, hold your follow through, all the little things that you need to do to make sure you're not causing the ball to miss with a short release or not getting your legs in it. But her shot looks pretty good, and her misses aren't like Asia's, that are Asia's are total. Just, I don't think I'm going to make it. I'm just throwing it up there. Jen's are kind of getting some funky bounces at times, so I'm not nearly as concerned about her as I am trying to get Asia on track and Lene. Wow. Just proof that miracles do happen. God is alive and well in 2014. That's what that would be. It would be a miracle. And I will just be so happy. Thank you for letting me know about that. I may do a little dance or something. It'd be great. Everyone would love to see that, I'm sure. But, wow. In memorial. That's what that would be. Wow. Something else. It'll be a tough one to get. Middle Tennessee's really good. Going to be a tough game. And late tip for the network. So we'll be in a bunch of homes around the country, but still would love for everybody to come out on a Friday night. I know it's a late tip, but we'd love to get a big crowd, and it'll be a big help because Middle Tennessee's coming up here to win, and we'll have to fight hard to get a victory.